Hi everyone, it's Niamh here and welcome to my art journaling channel. Today we're going to be playing in my junk journal looking at some abstract faces. So this is a technique that I've been playing a lot with in the last year or so, and I found that it's based off some techniques I've learnt from Dina Wakley through her. She does have a class called the Painted Face, but she also on her website has some free demos all about painting faces and shading and so on. So I'd recommend checking those out. So this is my super fast version, but basically I just wanted to practice. And some days you feel like drawing faces and sometimes you don't. So if you don't feel like drawing faces, either stamp a face out or use the collage faces from, these ones again are from Dina Wakley, but I'm sure there's other collage faces around. Basically you just want a face. So I'm starting out mapping out my face, and I'm basically using three colors with some darkers. So I'm starting off with my lightest color, which is my yellow, and that's my highlight area. So I've got that mostly on my page. Then I'm going in with the magenta, which is my medium color. And then I'm going in with my blue, which is kind of a medium-ish darker color. So that's sort of where I'm putting the shadows. And I'm just building up really thin layers. And if I find I've painted over an area, so you see I've painted over some of my pink, I want to put more pink in, I just paint it back in again. So it is all about just layering up the colors until you're happy with it. Now, a lot of people sort of ask, why do you use the weird colors? You know, that's not normal skin tone. For me, I use them because they're really clear. I can see where the highlights are with the yellow, I can see where the midtones are with pink, and I can see where my darker shadows are going to be with the blue. I'm going in and deepening some of those blue shadows with some Night, which is a really sort of deep navy blue. And you can see how just putting those bits of shadow in, and again I'm starting off at the edge quite dark and then blending it out. I'm using my finger to help blend out a little bit, and just by putting those shadows on, it helps to develop the face, make it look a little more three-dimensional. Now these faces are always going to look funny because they're weird colors, but they also look funny at this stage because the eyes aren't finished. And our human brains read eyes by looking for eyes. To read it as a face, sorry, if that makes sense. And until we've sort of got eyes that look realistic, faces don't look realistic to us. They look a little bit alien-esque. I personally prefer to put finish the eyes, put the detail in the eyes last. The reason for that is I'm a bit heavy-handed when I paint. Sometimes I put paint where I don't want it to be. Working on the eyes is a small area. You're working with white, so, you know, the cleaner I can keep it, the better, which is how I work it. I'm just going in and adding some hair to my people. Again, the tissue paper that I've got there, I'm basically just using as a template of a face. So you can see I've sort of painted it all over. I've lost the detail of it. I've added different hair on. The one on the left hand side only had hair on one side. And I've added it onto both sides. So, you know, you can mix and match and do whatever you fancy with it. The hair color I chose because I had extra paint left on my palette, so that's what I chose. For the bodies, I'm using a piece of paper. This is what I call a collage matrix. I did have a class on how to do this, which I'll attach in the description box. But basically it's just doing lots of collage, lots of watercolors, lots of mark making onto some sticker paper. So you can see me just peeling off the back and sticking it down. Usually I take a picture of these collage papers so I can print them out again in the future, but this is actually the real deal. This is the original piece. So it's got lots of texture and colour on it. That's why that gold looks so shiny, because it's actually the original gold paint on it. I decided on the right hand figure I wanted to extend her hair down, and I just used my finger to do that. I'm also just using some of the collage matrix in a complementary colour, so you're sort of using the yellows to cut out a bit of neckline, I suppose, just to add a bit of extra. Because it's all on sticker paper too, I am just sticking out any bits that I cut out into my junk journal in separate sections as well. So that just helps to, you know, make things really quick and easy. Obviously you can do this on normal paper and cut it out. I just like it on sticker paper. So to get those sketchy lines back in, I'm just going in with my Stabilo oil pencil to add the extra detail. Now I really like the sketchy loose lines of the original Dina Wakley tissue papers, so that's what I'm attempting to put over the top. And the great thing is, which is a little bit hard to see on screen, because those layers are fairly translucent, I can kind of actually see through to those scribbles, which gives me a little bit of confidence when I'm doing it myself, because while I'm not tracing over those lines, it's a bit hard to trace over scribbly lines, I'm scribbling in the same places that the original had, which just gives me, you know, that added benefit that it's, you know, in the right place. The shadows are in the right place. You can see now by putting in the whites of the eyes what a difference that makes to the two pieces. It just finishes it off, makes it look, it's never going to look realistic, but it looks more human-esque than it did before. And finally, just putting in the finishing touches of, you know, some pinkish or reddish cheeks with my red Stabilo pen to finish it off. And I'm writing under the I, be true, and I think be brave or stay strong. Be brave. Be true and be brave on both of the characters. So that is my finished piece. Oh, I've got some words that I'm cutting out of my Dina Wakley collage paper to add onto the page too. So it's a fairly simple technique, but I've done this in my junk journal because it was just a really great way to practice painting faces. And you know, this is something I would encourage everyone. Some people sort of look at it and go, oh, I can't do that. Well, I didn't think I used to be able to do that too, and you know, I still probably can't, but I'm practicing. Practice makes progress. The more you do it, the more adept you're going to become of it. The more your hand is going to remember what you need to do for the next time. So I would highly encourage you that if you want to do stuff like this, obviously you can choose your own color scheme, you can use realistic skin tones and stuff, but practice it so you know where your highlights are going to be, and use reference photos as well. So go to a magazine and look at where the really light bits are in the face, look at where the dark shadows are in the face, look at the shadows in the hair, and whatever color you've chosen as your shadow color, well, that's where you're going to paint it. Don't be afraid to, you know, make a mess of it and paint over it, because after all, it's only paint and paper. So have a go, have a practice. I'm sure you'll do an amazing job. Until next time, bye for now.